What's happening, everybody? Nick Martinez, the Keto Dad here, and this morning we're going to have a conversation about self-control because it's one of those things that is required in order to create a healthy lifestyle. And sometimes it's easier for some, harder for others. And I put up a post a couple days ago that said, what's one thing that you need to learn more about or need to master in order to achieve a healthier lifestyle? And it's interesting, there were a bunch of comments, 20, 30 comments, and some people were saying, I want to learn more about the foods to eat, foods to avoid, foods to stay away from, need more exercise. But the most common response was, I need to learn about self-control. It's interesting, because it wasn't like, what is something that you're deficient at? What do you need to learn? But what that tells me is most people are like, I know what I need to do. I understand this low-carb keto concept. It's just the self-control. It's the power within to make it happen, right? To achieve the results that I'm looking for, I need to master myself. If you can relate to the need for more self-control, type I can relate. Type where you're watching from in the comments. Give me some hearts if you love these lives, and hit share if you haven't hit share yet, because we're going to have a conversation about some simple tips that you can utilize to increase your self-control. And a lot of this happens to do with mindset, and it happens to do with heart set, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and how you're feeling on a daily basis is going to impact, right? And is going to influence the decisions that you make. Because at the end of the day, it's the decisions that we make in the moment when it comes time to choose what we're going to have to eat. The decisions that we make in the moment when it comes time to choose, are we going to have more, or are we going to push the plate away and go about our day, right? So if you feel like you've mastered self-control, type master of it. If you feel like, man, I'm challenged by it, type challenged by it in the comments. Type challenged by it. If you have some ketones, take a drink. Oh, it's 16 degrees in Indiana. What's up, Sandy? How are you? Type the temperature where you're at. I know it's cold in the Midwest. It's cold here in Minnesota. It is currently, according to my Alexa app, 11 degrees. And type where you're from, type the temperature, and tell me, self-control. Have you mastered it, or are you challenged by it? Sandy says she's challenged. Who else is on? Share in the comments. Let's talk about a couple simple things that you can do in order to master this self-control thing, in order to have more control over yourself. Number one is it's how you think and how you feel. So you get up in the morning and you start thinking, man, I'm going to be tempted by food today. Oh man, I don't think I can do this. It's so hard. Next thing you know, it is like you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy by putting those beliefs out there. So we have to start to shift that thinking. So when we wake up in the morning, part of it is just having this feeling of, I've got this, having this feeling of all is good, having the feeling of, oh my gosh, this is going to be an amazing day. So I have a simple routine that I do in the morning in order to increase that level of feeling, because if you feel in that way, when you're faced with challenges, when you're faced with decisions, it's a lot easier to make them, okay? So my simple morning routine is smiling. You guys think I'm crazy, but I do. Why do I smile? Because when you smile, guess what happens? It releases dopamine into your system. That's a hormone that makes you feel good. And you get to choose. Do you want to feel good, or do you want to feel bad? Changing your face changes a lot of things. Second thing I do is go to a state of gratitude, right? What are you grateful for in the morning? If you write that down and start in that energy, it's going to shift things for you. So right now, I want you to smile. Put a massive smile on your face. Type smiling in the comments if you're participating. And then type one thing that you're grateful for in the comments and why. One thing that you're grateful for and why in the comments. What's up from Syracuse? What's up, Mary? How are you? What's up, Gail? 18 in Wisconsin. All right, so smile, gratitude. If you're participating, come on. If you can hear me, I expect the comment. This is the participations part. I got a smile from Sandy. That's good. Who else? Come on, guys. Work with me here. Work with me. Third thing is breathe. Okay, the third thing is breathe. Breathe. You can apply these at any time that you feel like, oh, I'm challenged by food. Oh, I'm challenged by this. Oh, my willpower is going down. Smile, go to a place of gratitude, and breathe. You're going to shift your energy. You're going to shift the hormonal structure of your body. You're going to shift that moment of inconsistency, and you're going to be like, oh, I can do this, right? I can do this. It's powerful. So that's tip number 1 for mastering self-control, because it starts with how you're thinking and feeling. Okay? Tip number 2 is along the same lines. It's a little bit bigger vision. Is where are you headed? Like, what do you want out of your better health? Is it a number on the scale, which I think it's got to be more than that? It could be a part of it, right? Is it being able to go for a hike? Is it being able to go do some sort of movement with your grandkids? Is it being able to, you fill in the blank, is it just being able to fit into some clothes or in a bathing suit? Or is it just feeling amazing on a daily basis? What is it for you? If you really start to get focused and see that in the future, hey, in a year, this is where I'm going to be at. In a year, this is where I'm at. Now you can see where your desires are. Because if this vision for where you're going, for what you're creating in your body is so large that it supersedes the need to have a snack, the need to have an Oreo, the need to have that piece of chocolate, the need to have, you fill in the blank, the extra piece of pie. If it's so large that it like, oh, there's no way I'm having this because this is where I'm headed. This is what I'm doing. Okay? If you need to work on your vision for what you're creating in your body, type I need to work on it. Type I need to work on it. And my challenge to you is in 6 months, write about what you're doing on a daily basis, how you're feeling, how you're getting out of bed. In a year, maybe you go out a year if you have a long ways to go. Maybe you go out 18 months. But write about what that feels like, what that is like. If you spend some time doing that, guess what will happen? You'll have that vision ahead of you, and this vision will supersede. It will be bigger than these little choices that you're making that don't serve this greater vision. Good morning, Ann. How are you? Hey, Amanda. Type where you're from if you just hopped on. Give me a little shout out and say hello. If you're finding this valuable, hit the heart button. Give me a few hearts. All right. Next, the third thing. The third thing. This is more of in the moment. In the moment when you're like, oh, I'm not making the right decisions. Oh, I'm drawn this direction or I'm pulled this direction. How can I get past this? Right? It's simpler than it's actually a lot simpler than you think. It's change your environment. Change your environment. How do you do that? Well, you do it in a number of ways. One, you can just change your environment physically, meaning get out of the kitchen. If you're drawn to stuff and you're eating the wrong foods, remove yourself from the temptation or from the situation. If it's dessert that you're like, oh, I gotta have dessert, leave before the dessert is served, or leave the environment where the dessert is, or don't bring the dessert into the environment, right? You might want to change the environment in your pantry by removing the foods that you know you don't need, right? You might be putting them in a higher shelf where you have to get out a step stool or something in order to access them. A lot of times, just that extra effort, you're not going to go seek out the step stool in order to get it, okay? What is your crux? Like, what is your challenge that you're always coming up and facing? Is it a certain food? Is it overconsumption of certain foods? Type in the comments what your certain challenge is. What's up, Jesse? How are you? The other thing, as far as changing the environment, this one's really cool. It's changing the environment in your mouth. What does that mean? It means grabbing a piece of mint gum or a mint and throwing it in your mouth if you're somewhere out or even if you're at home. Going upstairs or going to your bedroom real quick and brushing your teeth. Signals to your brain, signals to your body, oh, I'm done eating. That minty flavor. Now all of a sudden you're like, I can't eat anything else. It's going to taste like toothpaste. I can't do that. You notice, like most people, most of us, once we brush our teeth, we are done eating. So if you want to signal to yourself that you were done, even if it's midday snacking, go brush your teeth. Have a toothbrush at work. When you know that's going to be the challenging time where you just want to munch on something, go to the bathroom, go brush your teeth real quick, and come back. And I'm telling you, it's going to shift how things are happening in your brain. If that makes sense, type makes sense in the comments. If you're tracking. Now, there's 3 little tips. Apply all 3, and I'm telling you, it's going to expand your ability to truly step in and to have that willpower on a daily basis. Okay, and it's all about making those decisions. When people aren't watching, when no one's around, mouthwash is a great option too, Ben. That's right. When no one's around, when no one's watching, it's making those decisions day in, day out, day in, day out, where it's just you against you. And you have to decide, is it worth it to you to make great decisions, and then create the environment of your thinking and feeling that is going to be in alignment with where you want to go. Good morning, Kyle. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Mary. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I hope you all have an amazing day. We got to get this little one on the bus. She's getting her hair braided right now. Are you watching Mom braid your hair on her phone? Is that what's going on? Oh, you're trying to see it. All right. All right, guys, keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it keto. We'll talk to you all soon.